Hello, I am Ana Sofia Verdeja, and today I'm here with,
Ana Sofia Corona.
and today we will talk about an episode called Privilege from a TV series called The Practice, in which we will discuss a case that we thought it was very interesting to explain why are interests and positions important at the moment to make a negotiation. So, well, as we know, negotiation is a skill that is present in many aspects of our lives. Therefore, it is important to understand how to negotiate properly. And to do this, it's very important that we understand the difference between a position and an interest, because successful negotiations are based on cooperation. So in order to become cooperative, we need to understand our own interests and positions and the ones of our counterpart. To explain this topic, we will use the case presented on season 6, episode 1 of the TV show called The Practice, in which a woman called Melissa, 16 years ago, kidnapped a baby from a hospital, and she raised that baby as her daughter. But the problem is that her daughter doesn't know that her mother is not actually her biological mother. And the issue here is that the biological mother is looking for her girl, and she already went to the police to help her find out who kidnapped her baby 16 years ago. But the police main suspect is a woman who is innocent, and they haven't found the woman who kidnapped the girl. So on the episode, Melissa, who is the mother who kidnapped the baby, goes to get help from an attorney called Jimmy, who is part of a firm that is very successful in defending criminal cases. And she goes to Jimmy because she feels guilty, because on one hand, she wants to assure that the biological mother knows that her daughter is safe and happy, but on the other hand, she doesn't want to go to jail, and she doesn't want that an innocent person goes to jail. So this is what we will be discussing on today. And well, let's start discussing where can we see the positions that are stated on this episode. Ana Sofi, can you tell me where can we see this?
Yes. We saw the positions. We're gonna start with Jamie. He's a defense advocate. So Jamie is committed to defending his client to the best of his ability, regardless of personal doubts or ethical concerns. And he insists on maintaining like the attorney-client privilege and protecting his client confidential information. Also, we see the client's position she's an innocence she's innocent and not. And the client maintains their innocence or seeks the best possible defense to avoid conviction. And the client expects unwavering loyalty and confidentiality from Jimmy as their attorney. Also, the colleague's position, um, Jimmy's colleagues support him, but emphasizes the importance of adhering to legal and ethical standards. And he also provides guidance to Jimmy, suggesting strategies while cautioning against potential unethical pitfalls. Also, the opposing counsel's position that the prosecution is determined to prove the client's guilt and secure a conviction. And this is a challenge for Jimmy because he needs Jimmy's defense strategies and break through any attempts to obfuscate to what's like to
Obfuscate.
yeah, the truth. Also the judge's position that it has to be impartial. So the judge needs to remain neutral, ensuring that both sides adhere to legal procedures and that the trial is fair. And the judge upholds the law and ensures that the ethical standards of the courtroom are maintained. So here we can see the positions, and we are going to talk about also about the interests. So what do you think that we can see the interests, Ana Sofi?
Well, on the episode, we can see, well, firstly, I will talk about Jimmy's interests. He is interested in maintaining a professional integrity because he wants to maintain his reputation and fulfill his duties as a defense attorney. He also wants justice while defending his client, Melissa, because Jimmy is also concerned about ensuring that justice is served. So, so that way, an innocent woman doesn't get punished unfairly, but also that that the woman whose child was kidnapped also doesn't stay in the dark with what happened to her kid. Another important aspect of Jimmy's interest is the ethical conduct, with balancing his professional responsibilities with his personal ethical standards, which is very important in this type of cases. There's also the client's interests. I want to clarify that, well, when we talk about client, we refer to Melissa, the one who kidnapped the baby. So her interest is to maintain her freedom, to avoid conviction and potential jail time. Also, confidentiality, because the client relies on attorney-client privilege to ensure that the sensitive information is not disclosed, and to have a strong defense, because the client seeks a robust defense to challenge the prosecution's case and secure an acquittal. The colleagues' interest, because, well, in the episode we can see that Jimmy works with another of his colleagues that will guide him in the defense of this case, and his colleagues want the team to have success, and Jimmy's colleagues are interested in overall success and reputation of their law firm. They also want guidance and support. They want to provide Jimmy with advice and support to navigate the ethical and legal challenges of the case. They also aim to uphold the legal profession's ethical standards while assisting Jimmy. And, well, we also have the interest of the counterpart, which is the prosecutor. The prosecutor wants a conviction. They are focused on securing a conviction based on their belief on the client's guilt. They also want justice, which is a key interest for the prosecution because they want to incarcerate the woman who was responsible for the kidnapping of this girl. They also want public safety because they want to protect the society from a potentially dangerous individual. And the interest of the judge is to have a fair trial. They want to uphold the law, ensuring that the legal process adheres to the established laws and ethical standards, and to bring a balance of the interest of the defense and of the prosecution. Well, during the episode, we can also see there are many moral dilemmas. If you would like to touch a little bit about that, Ana Sophie?
Yes, I'd like to. So, here in this episode, the dilemmas are the central theme. So, particularly illustrated through Jimmy. Jimmy faces, well, a profound ethical conflict between his duty to provide a vigorous defense for his client and his personal conscience, right?
Yes.
Which is troubled by the potential guilt and the immoral actions of his clients, and which we talk about Melissa. So this dilemma is further complicated by the attorney-client privilege, which legally brings Jimmy to confidentiality, even if it means, like withholding crucial information that could affect the cases that it's gonna the case that it's gonna like go through. So additionally, Jimmy's colleagues provide varied perspectives, emphasizing the tension between upholding the law and pursuing justice. these moral challenges force Jimmy to navigate like a complex landscape where legal responsibilities and personal ethics often, collide. So, he needs to find like a balance in which he must maintain, like the professional role and like in his personal like um issues, or like
Beliefs?
not issues but beliefs.
Yes.
So also we can see also in the chapter like justice this versus like uh
Legal ethics?
yeah, legal ethics. So I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Yes. We can see the interplay between justice and moral ethics, which is especially evident in this case, because they want to ensure that the guilty are punished and the innocent are protected. However, the pursuit of justice can sometimes clash with moral ethics, which are the personal principles of right and wrong and that guide an individual's behavior. Jimmy Berluti's moral ethics are tested when he must defend a client whose innocence he doubts. His duty as a defense attorney is to provide the best possible representation, adhering to the principles of legal justice, including maintaining attorney-client privilege and ensuring a fair trial. However, his personal sense of moral ethics may compel him to question whether defending someone he believes to be guilty aligns with his values. This tension is further heightened with the responsibilities and perspectives of other characters in the show. For instance, prosecutors are focused on securing convictions to deliver justice to victims, sometimes leading to ethical gray areas where their methods may be questioned. And judges must balance enforcing the law with fairness, often encountering ethical dilemmas in their rulings. The practice effectively highlights how justice and moral ethics can be at odds. Legal professionals are shown navigating these conflicts, emphasizing that achieving justice is not always straightforward and can involve significant moral compromise. The series portrays the legal system as a complex field where the quest for justice requires constant negotiation between strict legal standards and the moral values of those involved. Well, now we will talk about what is the opinion each of one of us has in regards to the case. Well, if I were Jimmy, I'm not sure if I would take the case because there are many interests that are at stake, and I'm not sure if I would defend somebody. Well, according to my morals and values, I think I would find it very hard to be a defendant in the first place, because I would have to defend someone who I know is guilty. During my studies in law, I have learned that when you are defending somebody who is guilty and it's obvious that that person is guilty, the most ethical thing you can do is looking for a lower punishment, like less years in jail. Or, for example, like if they are trying to attribute Melissa with a certain type of kidnapping with agravantes. Well, in English, I don't know how that would translate, but like elements that would make the kidnapping worse, or with a worse sentence. If I were the attorney, I would try to lower those those things that could aggravate the sentence so that the punishment would be lighter. But I wouldn't deny that there was a wrongdoing, because evidently there is. And objectively, I think I wouldn't, like, I would be very honest with the client, with Melissa, and I would say, like, there's no way that we can deny that you're responsible for this girl's kidnapping, and this girl also deserves to know the truth. So the only thing that we can do is to look for a lower jail sentence. It's not ideal, I know, because this girl will lose her mom, well, her mom, because it's not her biological mom, but that way we can, well, we can get justice, and we can avoid that an innocent person gets to be in jail. So if I were to take the case, I would look for the most ethical outcome, which is a lower sentence. What would you do, Anna Sophie?
It's also hard because, well, I mean, I'm not studying law, but um, I'd be between, like, right now, I'm like between a yes and a no because, okay, like if I were to be like a lawyer or something, I'm like, okay, like I have my like a duty to fulfill,
Yes.
but I don't think that my like personal ethical moral would let me do it because I know there's a wrong. There, I mean, yeah, because there's certainly a wrong thing that she did. So, but if I had to choose, obviously between a yes and a no, I think I'd say no because I couldn't like my conscience couldn't like let me just like I couldn't live without like knowing that some person like some innocent person went to jail
Okay.
and also that I mean, I know that probably the daughter is happy and like having a fulfilled life with her mother,
Yes.
but I think she has the right to know who her biological mother is. And I know that there's gonna be like a lot of issues there because she's gonna lost her, like we said, her mother, Melissa, and of course her life's gonna change completely. But I also think that her biological mother has also the right to know who her daughter is.
Yes, like
Because,
where she is.
yeah,
Yes, because
because
it's been
she
16
probably
years.
thought that, like, she probably thought, like, from, like, all these years that her daughter was dead or something like that. So, it will be a no, also from me.
Okay, okay. Well, I also think, well, because I initially, that's like my answer, but I know that there's people, and particularly people who do like criminal law, who would take the case and would defend Melissa.
Yeah,
And well, that doesn't necessarily imply that immediately the other woman who is innocent is going to go to jail, because that innocent woman can also hire a defendant that proves her innocence.
mm,
But but yeah, like there's people who would be able to lie in order for this girl to not lose her mother. And honestly, like looking at all the nuances that are presented in this case, I can understand why someone would decide to defend, like, well, in this case, Jimmy would decide to defend Melissa, because it's also not that bad. Like, it's horrible. Like, kidnapping someone else's kid is horrible. Don't do it. But at least she's not, like, the girl is not being trafficked. She is in a safe home. She's with a loving family. So for that part, well, it's not that
that bad. Yeah,
bad. It is bad, but it's not
yeah,
that bad. So I would get, if somebody else said, oh yeah, if I were Jimmy, I would take the case and I will defend Melissa with the best that I've got, and I will try to prove her innocence, which is not the most ethical thing to do.
not.
But looking at the nuances, in this particular case, it might not be that bad if we protect this person.
Yeah.
Something that I would also do is that maybe, well, I'm not sure if they can do this on the US, or how, or particularly in criminal law. I'm not sure if this can be made, but I will try to make a conciliation or negotiation, because right now I'm doing my social service, my servicio social on human rights. Well, on the State Commission of Human Rights, Comisión Estatal de Derechos Humanos. And I have seen many horrible cases, like criminal cases, that are settled with a negotiation, conciliating between the two parties involved, and cases that you would think they need to go to a judge or to a legal process to be resolved, which is the ideal. But in many instances, in certain cases, the people want to avoid the lengthy process, the lengthy legal process. So that way they prefer to go to an alternate way of solving the case via conciliation or negotiation. So another possibility that I maybe could see, because this case is not as horrible, is the two moms and the girl and tell them the truth and make them negotiate with each other, or to look for an alternate way to solve the controversy, not necessarily under the criminal law, or even through the traditional justice method. I don't know how to describe it in English, but they can choose, I don't know, like, I don't know if arbitration, yes, like an alternate way to
like
solve this controversy.
a week with this mom and a week with the other mom, and like, or were you thinking that or not?
Not
not
really.
specifically?
Well, that's a way that we can resolve the issue.
Yeah.
But I'm referring to the procedure, because
Okay.
for example, well, I know this is not a business case, but on business, when there's a dispute between two businesses, let's say Coca-Cola and Lala, for saying something, they can go to arbitration if they don't want to go to tribunals, like there's alternate ways that you can solve a controversy, not necessarily going up to a judge that emits a sentence that will tell you what to do. You can go with an arbitrator that can mediate with the two parties, or mediation, because there's arbitration and mediation, which are other types of processes that you can do when resolving a controversy. So I don't know, in this type of case, if something like that could be possible. I think it might be, maybe not in the way of arbitration or conciliation, but maybe through another institution that can make these two parties conciliate. Maybe through, I don't know who is the equivalent of PRONIF there in the United States, but yeah, like the institution that looks out for the well-being of the families in the United States. Maybe through that institution, they can reach an agreement, and like you said, in the best of the cases, getting into an agreement in which both moms can share the custody of the girl, in a way that it's more peaceful and more restorative. Because I also think the judicial way of resolving this case is not beneficial for everyone, because inevitably one is going to lose. Like, yes, like if the fake mom goes to jail, then the kid would be destroyed, because she had a life that would be ripped away like in 3 seconds. But if the other one loses, like if Melissa wins and the biological mom loses, then the biological mom would also be mad, because her girl would still be away from her when she has the right to be with her girl. So I think maybe the judicial way of handling this particular issue is not the best, since it is a zero-sum game. Like, one is going to lose and one is going to win. So maybe with an alternate way of resolving this controversy, this would be like a much more peaceful, there would be a much more peaceful resolution. Mm-hmm. So what do
Well,
you think?
yeah, I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not studying law. I don't know much about like procedures and that, but I think it would be like if I take the case, it would be like in my best interest also like to I think for both of them to for like a win-win situation because
Yes,
like we were saying like we've been saying um the I mean the daughter has like a completely happy life. She has like everything, but like we also said the biological mother has like the 100% right to know her daughter. But I think it would also like if I don't know, Melissa goes to jail. I don't know if you know, well, I think you do know. Like there's also like a procedure for the other mom, right? Like the biological
yes.
mom, like to check her house if everything's adapted for her, like to have
Oh,
a
yes.
daughter and that. So what would happen if like if the biological's mother home is not adapted for the daughter?
Yes, adequate. It would
Yeah,
make it
adequate
even
for
worse.
yeah,
Yes,
because then the children will go to
a foster
like
home.
yeah adopt yeah so I don't know I don't know what to think there because I don't want the daughter to lose, you know?
Yes, yes. Yes, this is very complex. And I think, yeah, like this is the perfect example on how sometimes it may be hard to find like a negotiation that will benefit everybody, especially in this type of cases where the lines are blurred between ethics and morality and the law. But if you are creative enough, I think it can have a good ending.
Yeah.
But I don't think the judicial way is the best way
No, I don't
because
think so either.
yeah, because forcefully one will lose and one
Yeah.
will win. But even the one who wins, like, does
No,
it really win?
yeah,
Yeah,
does
because
it really make you win? Because yeah, in this case, if they go like to like if they make it the right way, for example, if Melissa loses and the biological mother wins and the daughter goes to her biological mother, like maybe the daughter's gonna resent that, you know,
yes,
like I don't want to be with you. I don't know you. I don't want to be here. But
yes,
also if Melissa knows, like there's
yes, yes. If
a lot of
Melissa
points.
knowingly stayed with a kidnapped girl,
Yeah, maybe she's like, well, I've been kidnapped my whole life. I don't know my biological mother. I so yeah,
yeah,
it's really difficult.
it really, really is. But
Yeah.
yeah, it would surprise you how much of these type of cases are resolved outside of the presence of a judge, like not necessarily in a judicial way. And I would like to talk about a case, a very horrible case that I saw on human rights, which is where I'm doing my social service. It was about a man who was unfairly detained by the police,
Hmm.
and the police took the man. It's like a guy, a 22-year-old guy. It could be one of our classmates,
Yeah.
but he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, so
Yeah.
he was detained by the police. And mysteriously, at the next day, the guy appeared hanged, like choked in his cell, which is horrible because when you go to a cell, you would expect that since there's policemen there, people would protect you if you try to attempt suicide. Well, actually, the theory is that he didn't actually commit suicide. It maybe the police hit him or tortured him when he was detained and killed him in the process. So they tried to make it seem
Like a
like a
whole
suicide.
scene.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
whole scene because it was very weird because he was hanged from a bunk bed,
Okay, yeah.
which is very weird. Like I don't think it has the necessary height like altura for someone to
Yeah, for
be
him to
hanged.
choke.
Yeah, for him to choke. So it was a very weird scenario. And this, which is something that it's a really horrible case, wasn't resolved under a judge, like on a judicial way. They went to the commission to try to find a conciliation between the police and the family of the guy who lost his life, who was murdered.
Yeah.
And many families prefer it that way because that way they can get a damage reparation in at least, well, I know a human life cannot be valued in money because it's not just the money that you lose, it's also the person that you lose. He was a dad, he was a brother, he was a son. But many people prefer to negotiate outside of the court to get an agreement that is beneficial for everyone, instead of going to a court and going through a lengthy process that might be draining for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Because it is also, yeah, like a criminal process is also very, very exhausting because you have to be constantly reminded of the horrible thing that happened.
Yeah.
And it really astounded me that this case, which was very painful and very horrible, was settled outside of the jurisdiction of a judge. And cases that you would think that are not possible to negotiate are eventually possible to negotiate.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even hard to understand, like, why would the family accept a certain sum of money to make up for the loss of their kid. But many families prefer that rather than going through a legal process where they would be drained and exhausted and sad and fighting, right? Because
And probably like not getting to like a final point, right? Because maybe the other person wins.
yes, exactly. And especially with police
With
officers,
police, yeah.
yeah, that they have in their favor the government because they are somehow the government. So I get why. At first, I didn't get why these people didn't go to a judge, but now I understand it because these types of things are usually very complex, and the families need, well, and the families and the people involved need different things that many times are not going to be fulfilled when doing things under the law. So yeah, it is very interesting. I really liked watching this case. And well, I don't know if you have any final thoughts on
Oh
the
yeah,
situation.
I also enjoy it really in when we saw it in class and also talking about it and discussing it, and it was real also really fun to see your point of view, that we have similar points of view. So yeah, that's everything from my part.
Excellent. Well, I think it's now time to conclude. Thanks for our classmates who are going to watch this video. I hope you like it. I'm excited to listen to your points of view and what would you do in this particular case. And we will see you in class.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.